In sister location, we see the experiment chambers. It is locked behind the private room door, which we need a death minigame key to access. We know from Dittophobia that these chambers are underground on the same level as Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. Michael, at the end of his shift, watches television and what we can see is the Nightmare House. However, Michael goes down an elevator at the start of his shift. This living room area with the TV is not shown within the experiment chambers. Because Michael is going down into Circus Babies and presumably never gets the death minigame key, as that ending is not in the game's continuity, Michael cannot be going into the experiment chambers at the end of every shift. Sister location requires the Nightmare House to be a real home that exists outside of the experiment chambers. It's worth keeping in mind that the entire minigame map is also recreated as a part of these experiments, so unless we're arguing all of the minigames were also a part of William's experiments, the idea that these locations don't exist outside of the experiments has nothing to go off of. Because we see the Nightmare House in sister location, and because sister location requires the Nightmare House to exist for its own events to make sense, then we know the bedroom location seen in FNAF 4 by being a part of the Nightmare House is also real. FNAF 4 shows us what the real Nightmare House looks like on the outside on the title screen. As we can see, it is isolated with no surrounding locations. This is clearly not the minigame house, since all it is surrounded by are trees and bushes. We can even see the external environment of the Nightmare House in the Fun with Plush Trap minigame through the window. This is important because in Dittophobia you could not see outside of the experiment windows. The only other time we have seen an isolated house surrounded by trees and bushes is in Midnight Motorist. This house belongs to William, and we can see a living room with an entrance to the right of the television. This is the same direction that Ennard enters from in the sister location fake ending. Since sister location tells us that Michael and William are biologically related and given all of these connections, we can then figure out that the Midnight Motorist house, Mike's house, and the Nightmare house are all the same physical location. This is then supported by further references to FNAF 4's title screen. In Curse of Dreadbear, we can see the Nightmare House in the distance. In the hub, there are two notable Easter eggs. One causes the sky to turn blood red just like the FNAF 4 title screen, and another turns the car's headlights purple, a clear allusion to Midnight Motorist. Then, in 5 Laps at Freddy's, we have the Midnight Motorist map. When Night Shift mode activates, the sky in Midnight Motorist will also turn blood red. This is why I argue that the Nightmare House really physically existed outside of the experiment chambers. We've literally seen it before. And this is also why I argue why the Nightmare House is so significant and vital to understanding Midnight Motorist events, since Scott has tied these two things together multiple times.